So this time we'll learn about lists. I'll just give a quick overview what we'll learn in this video. So we'll learn about lists and its various methods like append, clear, copy, etc. So to create a list, we just have to assign a square bracket to a variable, and this will essentially create an empty list with no values in it. Now we can specify initial values inside the lists, like I have created over here, so item 1, item 2, etc. And we can also create lists with multiple data types. So list is not limited to one data type. For example, inside a list there can be a string, a integer, a boolean, everything all together. Now to access a list we can use index. So like any other iterable in Python, lists is indexed, and the index of course starts with 0. So as you can see, we can get the 0th index element, that is car, we can get the first index element which is 1, and so on. So index starts from 0 and so on. And also we can get the last index using -1, so that we can count from behind. So -1, -2, that will give us the last index value, the second last, and so on. Now let's move on to slicing. Slicing works on iterables in Python, and this is different from indexing, although the syntax may be similar, but in slicing you will have a colon inside the third bracket. So let's create a list of integers. Over here you can see that I am printing list 1 0:0, which returns a list. So slicing always returns a list, where indexing will return the value of its type. So as you can see, from indexing we get the 0, and 0 is int, so the type of that list square bracket 0 is int. Whereas we can do the same thing and we can get 0, but this time we did 0:1, so this is slicing, and slicing returns a list. Now to slice anything in Python, this is how it works. So from before the first colon we have the starting index, which is included in the slice. Then we have the ending index, which is actually excluded from the slice, and after that the second colon, and we can specify the step size. So how many we want to skip every time we do the counting. So over here you can see that from 0 to 4 slicing, we are including 0th element, but we are excluding the 4th element. So let's see, over here from 2 to 5 slicing, we are including from second element up to 4th element, but we are excluding the 5th element. So slicing from the first element will be included, and the last element, then the end element will be excluded. Now with step size 2, let's see how the output looks like. So as expected, we are starting from 2 and we are going up to the 6th index, which is 6. So that will be excluded. So we have the slice 2 to 5. Now we are doing a step. So first we will take 2, then we will skip 1 and go to the second one, so that will be 4. Now slicing without any values in it, if you just write the colon, it will actually select the whole list, and if we do something like 3 colon then gap, it will select from the third onwards to the last. And similarly, if we do gap colon 3, then it will select from 0 up to the second element, because you have to remember the end index is excluded. Now something we can do is we can select the whole list by gap colon gap, then we can do the second index elements only. So only the even index element will be selected in the slice. Now a fun little thing we can do is slice using -1 as the step size. So we'll actually count backwards and this will reverse our list. This is a very useful trick. Now as I said before, lists are indexed, so you can get any index, but you have to make sure that the index actually exists in the list. So you cannot have like index 100 in a 50 long string, that will give us error. So you can actually directly assign any element to any index. Over here I am assigning the string book to the second element. Now you can see that the second element was 2 previously, it has been replaced by book. Now we can also assign a list inside an element. So this will look something funny. So we have a list inside another list at 5th position, but I don't think this was intended, right? We wanted to just simply add the tree and life to the existing list. So let's see how we can do that. So list inside the tree and life is in a list already, so we need to unpack them. To unpack them we have to provide some space which it can unpack to, so that space can be a list. So over here our slice, which is actually returning a list, is where our tree comma life will get unpacked, and as you can see that tree and life has been inserted in the list as an element, not as an list. Now we can do something funny like indexing from 1 to 1, so and assign something over there. So existing 1 which was at the first index is now at the 5th index. No, my bad, sorry, 4th index. So the 1 is not deleted or replaced, it is simply moved to the right. So let's move on to list methods. The first method we will learn is insert. So insert takes 2 arguments. First it will take the index at which we want to insert the element, and second argument will be what we want to insert. So over here at third index I am inserting the string mouse. So the list, we can see that at third index mouse has been inserted and everything after that has been shifted 1 index to the right. Now next comes the pop method. So pop will take a index, and if we don't give anything it will automatically take the -1, so last element, and pop will return whatever that index holds, and it will also remove the element from the list. So over here the third element mouse was returned and it was removed from the list. Now we can do append. Append does same thing as insert, but append is strictly for appending to the end of the list. Now we can use extend to join two lists or two iterables. So let's see, I have created a list, iterable, a string and a tuple. So if you join, if you extend L1 with L2 which is a list, we will obviously get a list. Now if you do the same with the string, we can see that the string has been converted to list, then it has been appended. So for list one, for extending with tuple, it will simply be appended to the end of the list. Now we can remove without pop. So this dot remove method will actually take in what we want to remove. So this will not take an index. So let's say we have 3 in this list, we want to remove 3, so we can just remove 3 straight away. Now if we have duplicates in the list, something we can do is mylist dot remove, then the name of name what you want to remove. As you can see, only the first appearance is removed. Now del is a powerful method, be careful while using it. Using del you can delete element at an index, but be careful, if you forget to give the indexing, it will actually delete your list, and afterwards when you are trying to access the list, it will not be available and it will throw an error. So you can do list dot clear, so it will actually make that list a empty list. And there is a method called sort also. So sort takes an function, so if you don't give it anything, it will sort these integers from in an ascending manner. But if we give something like, let's say, absolute value, so what it will do is it will take the absolute value of the all list elements. After that, it will use that value to sort it. So as you can see that -3, -4 are still there in between, because absolute of -4 would be 4, so obviously that is bigger than 3. Now you can sort on strings with key str.lower, so it will actually arrange it. Now there is a reverse method, but we already know how to reverse, so colon colon and -1, this does the same thing. And yeah, lists are a bit different than other variables. You cannot directly copy a list by assignment. So as you can see, I tried to copy L2 L1 into L2, then I am doing print L2, then I am doing some operation on L1, but after the operation the L2 is also modified. So L2 is a reference to L1, it is not an exact copy. So same data has been given to two different names. Now we can actually do deep copy using list.copy method. This will create the new list which is actually independent of the first list. So anything we do to the first list will not be affecting the second list. Now there is another method to do this deep copy. You can use the list constructor to create the L2 with the data of L1. So this will also have the same effect. Now we have the count method. So I am creating a list which has duplicates in it. So using the count method, I can count how many times something occurs. So all of this may feel a little bit overwhelming, but trust me, once we start doing some projects, list will be very fluent to you. Thank you.